Hello everyone, I'm Varun. This is a continuation of my first tutorial, AngularJs Hibernate tutorial, which shows AngularJs Hibernate Servlet and MySQL technologies. And as part of my first tutorial, I've shown how to create an employee and display that employee information. The front end I'm using is AngularJS. Uh, if you see the JSP, I'm making use of the AngularJS libraries and uh, creating and posting that data into the database, and also similarly fetching that data from the database using a AngularJS. Now, in this demo, I would like to show how to edit a particular employee and delete a particular employee. If you remember, I'll just show you just to give what I've done in my part one. If you see, I can add an employee here, Kirtana. I'll say intern and I'll say 1000. Okay, and if I press add, it says record added successfully. Press the reset button to see the changes. You can see here Kirtana is added. Now when I press edit, I should be able to alter this particular employee. Now let's see. I'll not be. I've already shown the technologies I'm using here: AngularJS, Hibernate, Servlet, MySQL, and CRUD. How to install this? Please refer to my first tutorial, and I'll be running this application on Apache Tomcat 8.5. Apache Tomcat 8.5 is my application server. All right. So headed. So for the edit in the DAO, the fetch data, I'll be creating a method called update record. I'll say public void update record, to which I'll pass variable long id value, string name, string designation, and int salary. Okay. Uh, Even in this method, the first thing I will do is get the session factory. So I'll just copy this values from the above method. Okay. The get factory method, if you see, press F3. Get factory method will basically uh, from the making use of the hibernate config.xml, it will create a session factory. uh, it will create a session factory. If you refer to my first tutorial, I've created a hibernate.config.xml wherein I've given the driver URL, username, password, and all those details. So this will load this and create a hibernate session factory object. Then using that hibernate session factory, I'm creating a session. All right. The next step is to use a try catch block. Within this try catch block, let's begin this session dot begin transaction. We assign this to tx variable which we created just now. Then I'm using a hibernate query language to update the employee record. So I'll use string sql equals update. My database name is world.emp. Set name equals single quotes plus the variable name, single quotes, designation equals single quotes, variable name, designation, single quotes, salary equals double quotes, because salary is the integer. I don't have to make use of single quotes. So where id equals plus id value. All right, so this is my string. This is the query which I'll be executing. So I'll use session dot create SQL query. I'll pass this SQL variable. Then this will return object of type SQL query. Okay. Then say query dot execute update, and in the last to tx dot commit. Okay. So this is what we'll do in this method. Begin the transaction, execute the query, and commit. If anything goes wrong, uh, we'll use the try catch and finally block to close the transaction and roll back the transaction and close this session. All right. So this is about my update record. Okay. Uh, all right. Next, I'll define the method called delete record. Okay. Public void delete record int id value. Okay. The first thing I'll do is again get the session factory, open this session and create the transaction. Okay. Next I'll do is in a try catch block, I'll tx equals to session dot begin transaction. Okay. Next I'll define a variable string SQL equals delete from world dot emp where id equals plus id value. Okay, this is my SQL query. So I'll just copy this. So after this is my SQL query, then I'll use create SQL query, which will return an object called SQL query. Then I'll say execute update and say tx.commit. If in case if anything goes wrong, then I will roll back in the exception. I'll roll back the transaction and close this session. All right. So this is about my delete record. Okay. I'll just save my fetch data. Now I need to create two controllers. One is for update employee. Another is for delete employee. Okay. Let me first create the controller for update employee. Okay, right click, new class, give the name as update employee, click finish. Okay, let me make use of the, I'll just copy this extents. Okay, I'll just paste it here. Okay, so this method basically extends HTTP servlet and it implements a do post method. Also, it should have a web servlet annotation, okay, which is in double quotes your forward slash followed by your class name. Since I'm not using a web.xml, I'll be using at the rate web servlet annotation. Okay, so after creating that, the next step is in the do post. I have to first read the request. So I'll start with string buffer sp equals new string buffer, and okay, then I'll create the object of DAO of the DAO. I just need to import the DAO class. All right. Next, open try catch. In the try block, I'll use buffer reader equals request dot get reader. Okay. Uh, Let me import this quick fix. Okay. String, then I'll define string line equals null. Okay. Next, in while loop, while line equals reader dot read line not equals null, then I'll append sp dot append the string line, and okay. So now I've read the reader request into the string buffer. In case of any error, this is only for the development purpose. I'll just print stack trace to see the error. Alright. The next step is to create the JSON parser to read the variables. JSON parser equals new JSON parser. Okay, just import the necessary dependencies. Okay, next I'll create the JSON object. User equals null. Import the necessary dependencies. Okay, next in try catch, sorry, okay, in this try, what I'll do is using the parser, JSON parser, I'll parse the string buffer. Okay, this will return an object of type JSON object. Okay, this I'll store it in this variable which we created just now. Okay, next step is uh, if you get an error, we can as well track it. Okay, the next step is to get all the variables from the front end, which is Angular JSP with AngularJS. Now say string name equals go user dot get name, which is my variable name, dot to string. Okay, uh, now what's happening is uh, when I get it as a to string, so double quotes is being, I mean, due to some reason the double quotes is getting added. So I'm just removing the double quotes by considering the substring dot length -1. So I mean, this, if you don't get any double quotes, then you can as well avoid this. But in my application, due to some reason, I'm getting the double quotes, so I'm adding this. Next is to get the ID string ID equals I'll just use this instead of name. I'll give ID. This is the ID variable defined in the front end. Okay, but this ID is a okay. This ID is a long variable in the database, so I'll convert this string to long using new integer. Sorry, sorry, new long uh, pass the ID and dot long value. Okay, now I have the ID value. Next, I'll use the string designation. I'll just copy this. I'll type designation, control C, control V, control V. So I got the designation value here, and last I'll get the salary. String salary equals again salary equals salary dot substring 1 salary dot substring salary dot length -1. Okay, this salary is again a integer in the database, so I'll just say integer salary value equals new integer of salary and dot int value. Okay, I've saved it. Okay, next obj dot update. I have to pass this ID value. Okay, name. Okay, designation, and I have to pass the salary value. So with this, my controller is ready to update an employee. Okay, next let me create the last controller, which is the delete employee. Okay, I'll create new class delete employee. Okay, I'll click finish. I'll make use of an existing, I'll just copy this HTTP servlet. Okay, delete employee is again a do post. So I'll just copy this method from existing servlets. Okay, okay. Again, I'll create a string buffer sb equals new string buffer. Okay, next I'll create the DAO fetch data obj equals new fetch data. Okay, I've imported that class. Next, try catch. In the try block, I'll use buffer reader equals request dot get reader. Okay, now next I'll define a string line equals null. Import the necessary buffer reader. Okay, while open line equals reader dot read line not equals null. sb dot append line. All right, if you have any error we can track it in stack trace. Next, I'll create a JSON parser equals to new JSON parser. Okay, next I'll create a JSON object jo user equals null. Try catch block. Okay, first using the parser I'll parse the string buffer. Yeah, sb dot to string. This will return a JSON object, so I'll just typecast it to JSON object and store it in the variable jo user. Okay, so all right, now I'll just need to get the id value to delete the record. Okay, so let me just get the int, sorry, string string id equals new integer sorry, string id equals, first I need to get this from this object, geo user dot get id dot to string. Next, int id value equals new integer of id dot trim, in case you have any space, dot int value. Okay, now pass this id value to the DAO method delete record. You control C. Yeah, so with this my controller delete record is also done. Okay, I forgot to use the annotation web servlet, so we have to use delete employee double quotes forward slash. Okay, so with this my delete employee record delete employee controller is also ready. Now let's add the changes in the code in the JSP. So whenever I click on update employee, so it will go to the function called update employee. So I need to define a function called update employee in my JSP. Okay, just to save some time, I've already added this code. So I'll just say update employee, control C, I'll put it. So whenever I press update, whenever I press edit, it will go to a function called update employee. So it will come here scope dot update employee, and it will load the employee details into this scope dot emp, and the text it will create it as update. Now when I press on update, it will go to a function called if button text equals to update, so which I need to add now. All right, let me add uh, I mean, just to save some time, again I'll add this code directly. Oh, this code is not there, huh? No problem, I'll type it, no problem. What I'll do is I'll just copy this, control C, control V. I'll use else if. Okay, here my logic will be update. Okay, my method will be post, but the URL will be update employee. So I'll write URL as update employee. The content type will be same. Scope will the data will be scope.emp. Here I'll write the message record updated successfully. Uh, Please reset the button to see the changes. So this is about my update. Similarly, when I press delete, when I press delete, okay, when I press delete, it should go to a delete employee. So first I have to define a function called delete employee. Okay, I'll define a function called delete employee. So when I press the button text will be delete. When they press delete, it will again come to this methods, which is else if it will be delete, it will be post delete employee, and the rest all things will be same. So record deleted successfully. All right, so with this I've completed my AngularJS. So please note that whenever I click button, it will first come to this function and it will change the, I will run and show it to you. It will be better for easy understanding. Let me run this JSP again. Run on server. Next, click finish. Click start. Please hold on for a few minutes. Okay, so this is my JSP page which got loaded. Okay, now let me change something. When I click edit, oh, something is wrong with the edit. Let me see what is wrong. Uh, the JSP something is not getting loaded. Update employee. Sorry, these two functions I should have done it here. Within this function, okay, let me save and run it again. Run as, run on server, next finish. Okay, let me run this now. Okay, you see when I click on edit, all this on the employee Varun, all these details will be populated here, and the the button text will be changed automatically to update. How it happens in the program? When I click on edit, okay, it will look for a function called update employee. So it will come here, and this update employee will populate all the values of that employee into the scope variable emp, and it will change the value to update. All right, now I'll say Varun designation as manager and the salary as 12,000. All right, and I press update. It says record updated successfully. Press the reset button to see the changes. I'll press the reset. Now you can see the changes. Oh, Varun, the designation is changed to manager and the salary is 12,000. Now, similarly, I want to delete a record now. So let me delete this Varun employee again. I'll say delete. So when I press delete, all the Varun details will be populated here and the button text will be delete. How is it happening? When I press delete when I press the delete button, it will look for the function called delete employee and it will come here. The delete employee, it will populate all the values of that particular record into scope emp, and it will display the button text as delete. When I press delete, it will go to a function called submit. When I press submit equals to delete, it will see if else scope button dot equals to delete, it will execute this delete employee. Similarly, when I press update, it will execute this particular function else if. Alright, so let's see what will happen when I press delete. It says record deleted successfully. Press the reset button to see the changes. Press reset. Now the delete record is gone. So this is how the end-to-end configuration, or sorry, end-to-end demo of CRUD, create, update, and delete, and also display of the records using AngularJS, Hibernate, Servlets, and MySQL. Uh, Hope this demo will help the people who want to learn AngularJS. Uh, I would like to reiterate that I've uploaded the complete code in the GitHub. So you can download this code from the GitHub and you can just download it and load it and start building the application following my video. That's it from my end. Thank you very much.